This took a little bit. I finally got her. Man, to take the foot off the clutch. Woo! This thing quick there. Quick there. All right, I'm gonna go over some of the stuff here that you gotta do to get this apart, to either get you the clutch or the flywheel or the Thorry bearing. All right. I'm gonna make this straight to the point, simple as I can, short and sweet as I can. You gotta pull it in two pieces. All right. The way I try to do it is I roll the back away from the front. Block the front up to where it can't go nowhere. Now this is a 2x2 piece of 2x12 sitting under here, just like that. Maybe not ideal. A lot of people, they do it backwards. I'm trying to get my camera right. They do it backwards and they'll put stand legs here and roll the front away. I don't like rolling the front away because, and I'm gonna not skip this part. This part is very important. Make sure you put a block under there, because if not, this track is offset. When it comes out of them dowel pins, it's going to want to roll over naturally this way because all the weight's on this side. It's going to want to fall over this way. So make sure you put a block under the front axle so it don't roll over. All right. Block the front up to where it won't move. This is how I do it. I find I've never tried to roll the front away. I don't like moving the front because if something happens with that block, the whole thing fall over. I like to move the rear. Now, you can do this with whatever you got. You can put a piece of plywood down here and put some jacks with some legs on it and mount it to the jack somehow. Whatever you got to do to feel safe to roll this back away. Whatever makes you feel safe. Whether it's a cherry picker rolling it, it's a chain horse at the ceiling that's on a roller system, it's on rollers on a steel beam, and it's hooked over on the side of the transmission. I'll show you in a minute. Drop your cultivators off, take your air tube loose. My wires are long enough that I didn't need to take my wires off, and I'm gonna cover everything up. Drain your oil out, your touch control, because you're gonna lose it when you take the line loose. On a 140, you have to take the steering wheel off. Steering wheel will not go past this pole, at least mine wouldn't. And I was scared that was going to pull the front over and snagged on it, so I just pulled it off, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. Pretty simple. And then I'm going to show you why I get this apart like this. I'm not putting a new clutch in it. That's going to bite me in the rear later. I know, doing what I can afford. We're going to fix the problem at hand. And that is that flywheel ring. And I'm going to show you how to remove that and install a new one. It's pretty simple. Did the Super A twice. I don't know what the deal is with that. But anyway, first time on a 140. My starter, I just laid it back out of the way, so it wouldn't get hung in the flywheel trying to get away from it. So I just set that back out of the way, take battery cable off. Fertilizer drive was on here. I took that off. I had to take that one bar off that side because it was in the way of my jack. That's 2x12, screw together in a T, sitting on top of it. And it's not really, I mean, it's pretty sturdy, you know. It's pretty sturdy. It's not going to go nowhere. All right, the back is hooked on this big bolt on the chain. Like I said, you can use cherry picker, front end loader, or you can put some jacks on it with some legs on it to where you can roll this back. I like to roll the rear away from the front, because the front is, I say it's offset. You get that block, something having that block, this is going to want to turn over. So I try not to move this part, number one, I got to. Steering wheel, your linkages here, take your line loose, take cultivator arms loose, your oil line. That's pretty much it. And whatever's separate, your wires here was in with a couple, and your transmission bolts. Like I said, I like to prop the front up and leave the rear and roll the rear away. Roll the rear away any way you can safely. Make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting. Oh, to get the steering wheel off, this is a simple steering wheel puller. Take the nut off. Now this on a 140. Super A ain't gonna work that way. If I remember right, the Super A one will weasel. You can weasel the Super A one because the steering wheel is a lot smaller. I ain't never removed the Super A steering wheel. The Super A will weasel away from that. Just take the blocker loose here, one bolt, and it'll weasel. You can weasel away around that. That's basically it. This is what you see, is what you got. Just get everything away from it, disconnected from it, and I'm gonna show you how to do that flywheel here in the next bit, which is pretty simple. You just basically heat it with the torch, and when you heat it, that expands it away from the I guess it'd be the flywheel. That heats it, expands it away from the flywheel, and you just take a hammer and tap it off. That's all you do. You put your clutch flywheel back in there, and then just roll this back up forward. But this one's getting to the point it was getting hung there and wasn't getting past it. And every time it would come around, it would stop on that. So anyway, stay tuned. I'm gonna show you how to get that off with the torch, and you don't cut it off. All right, I'm gonna show you. I only did it this way. The cutting wheel. Just cut into it. Don't cut all the way through it. And take your broad tipped punch and hit it, and knocked it right loose. I can't video everything while I'm trying to grind, beat, but I can show you the results of it. And the only reason I did the same way as putting a new one on, you could have done it to get the old one off. But the only reason I did it this way, this is to save on some oxygen and acetylene, because this is trash anyway. That's the whole purpose of it, taking it apart. So you gotta. I got to the point I could bump it, I can rock it, and get past it. But now it won't get past it. It would hang up right there and just sit there and grind. But just cut a little bit into it. Don't go all the way through. So how I stopped right before I got to the end of it. So that way you don't cut into your flywheel. And I'm gonna show you how you put the new ring on there. We're gonna get this cleaned up a little bit. Stay tuned. This is the important part. I'm by myself here. I didn't have nobody to hold the camera, but I'm gonna explain it to you in a nutshell on what you do. You lay your ring up here like this. This is the old one. You lay your ring up here. Just lay it up there, and you just take your torch, or take it to a machine shop, and you just keep running around the torch around it, and it'll slowly fall down on there. All you're doing with this torch, this thing's still hot, you're just expanding this ring. And then once it cools, it's gonna be stuck to the flywheel. And you just tap it all the way down. It'll slowly fall on there on its own. Then just take this little hammer and just all the way around it till it's all the way down to the bottom. That's all you do. You heat and that's on any manual vehicle. And you do the same thing taking it off, but I just took cutting wheel and cut it to save on acetylene, save on oxygen and acetylene. I just cut it off. That's all you do. You lay the ring up there and just keep running the torch around it. Rosebud, or I just use cutting tip. That's all I use. Just keep running around, and it'll slowly fall down on it. And get it even, tap it even around. I wanted to video that, but all the way around till she bottoms out of the bottom. We got a new clutch we're gonna put in here. My disc is all clean out, but I'll show you the new clutch when I get it together. But that's all you do. Now it's an old. You could hypothetically, if you're that poor, because these ain't like 40 or 50 bucks. I think it's like 50 bucks. You could flip these around and use the other half of them. If you could, but you don't get that far. You might as well just put a new one in and be done with it. But we're gonna get this back together. I'm gonna show you the new clutch in just a minute. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna replace the clutch, but when I took it off, that's what. Let me set it back. This is what my disc looked like. Slick all the way around. All the lines is wore. I see it. It had lines in it. It's supposed to have lines in it. It was wore clean out. That's a good pressure plate, because this won't slipping. So I know that's a good pressure plate. is what the new one's supposed to look like. Now, I ain't sure what the brand is on this clutch. I brought it from my mom and pop store here. I brought parts from. All right, I don't know if you can notice or not, but you haven't noticed, but you cannot reach your hands in there and grab that bearing and pull it out. It won't, it's not gonna happen that way. Now, I did not think about this all by my little self. No, YouTube did. Somebody had a little 20-second video on there doing this. Just like this, with a puller. And you're supposed to be able to stick this and pull it off of there, and then it pops off, and you, up there, it's good. And you're supposed to be able to just tap the new one right on there. Let's see here, we get back in focus here. Oh, look at there. Hot dog. Old bearing off. Yeah, it won't just pull right there with your hand. I don't know, you see. Oh, I see. You come in from the side here with your grease. I see. And I'm going to show you how to put the new one on there. I don't know if that's supposed to have that play in there or not. Anyway, we're going to replace this anyway. We're going to replace everything, including that pilot bushing. I don't know, maybe film that or not. And just to let everyone know, let me turn my flash on. Oh, hold on there. Oh, my flash is not working. Alrighty. And you see that little hole right there? That's where your grease gonna go through. What's to line that up? Let's see here. Put my thumb on it right there. It's supposed to line. Well, that ain't working out. That's all that does. That's nice. It goes on there. We're gonna shoot some grease in it. And see if we take grease. It snap. That's crazy how it snaps on there, but won't really snap back off. And it's held on there. And this is why I'm gonna have a gap in some of my videos. My cultivating. I'm hoping to get this done. Money was a problem. I'm buying a new clutch, so it was a delay. I already had the flywheel ring here, so I'm hoping all my stuff gonna have to be too tall to get over to get the fertilizer and stuff on it before I get this unit back together. So that's why it's gonna be a little pause. You're gonna see some logging, you're gonna see some trucking, some other stuff. No tractor work for a couple weeks. 2-week gap. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll get some grease in that thing, and I'm gonna show you how to take that slide hammer and get that pilot bearing out of there. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This is the part I don't like doing it by myself, trying to get it done. Okay, these two little fingers look like these two little fingers, and they're turned around outside like this. You hook it here like that. All right. Okay. And you screw the rod in, and what the rod does, it pushes them fingers out so they stay out. All right. And after you got it like that, you're supposed to just. But you get an idea. So I'm not gonna be able to do it and hold the telephone. Sorry, I know. I don't think no. That's the part I don't like, because now you're rocking this all over the place because you're beating on the back. But and that's in the end of the crankshaft. And the kit, I looked the number up. Y'all can look it up for yourself. That is Steiner's kit from Steiner. Should be good stuff, right? We're gonna keep this because we're gonna put this on something else. Hopefully, we're gonna reuse that pressure plate, because I just happen to have a tractor that has the fingers wiped off of it. May use the old authority bearing too, but we're gonna take pieces of the old clutch and make another one. Anyway, we here comes, and them little fingers is stuck behind this, and it's supposed to toot 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 and tap it out. Now you can, in theory, you can take a Dremel tool or a Sawzall or some kind of little rotary tool. I've done this, or an air chisel, And you can cut that in half and get it out and then just tap the new one in. You ain't got to have that fancy little slide hammer. But, you know, slide hammers, they don't cost that much, y'all, I'm afraid. And you'll use them from time to time for various different things. But this is the thing, you know, trying to work on the stuff at the house for the average Joe that only does his oil changes. And it's kind of, you know, a little technical with stuff like this, and when you get into a little machining, and then with the torch, with the flywheel ring, you see me do it. It seems simple. It takes me only a few minutes to do it. The problem with that is having all the stuff here to do it with. Having the torch here, and you know, the slide hammer and the puller to get that off. Now you have to take the whole fork, take the fork piece out, and then put in a vise and tap it off. You know, so I'm gonna make it seem too easy, but it's not too hard neither. You know. Anyway, I'm gonna show you that real quick, and I'll show you how to tap it in there, the new one. I ain't even gonna talk about that pallet bearing. That pallet bearing in there. Oh no, I couldn't video that, getting that out. That came out in pieces. But anyway, your line-up tool. I have put these in here without a line-up tool because the disc sits down in the flywheel and it can't really move a whole lot. But what this line-up tool does, it lines up the disc with the pallet bearings. That makes any sense. So, because the disc has got to be lined up with the pallet bearing on the back of the crankshaft, because the disc can move just a little bit. Now, on an automobile, that's crucial because the disc most of the time on an automobile it's not up inside the flywheel like this. The disc, when you loosen the clutch pressure plate, the disc fall right out the bottom. You know, these are important on a vehicle, but this not so much. I put the Super 8 back together not once but twice without one of these. I wasn't going to replace this, but after I saw the disc, I said, well, it'll be real foolish to put that back in there. But get the new toy bearing in there. We're gonna roll this thing up here now. I think I got everything bolted up. Got the 4 bolts in there. We got everything in there new. I think we're gonna roll it up here now and start putting get it up in these dowel pins tonight. Hopefully in the next clip it'll be back together and starting on its own. Well, this took a little bit. I finally got her. Well, let's take the foot off the clutch. Woo! That thing quick there. Quick there. Quick. But got the clutch adjusted. Got an inch of free play in the top. What that inch of free play is for, to keep the throw-it bearing from turning with the clutch. If you got pressure on your pedal all the time, your throw-it bearing is spinning. The throw-it bearing really don't supposed to spin till you're clutching in. You really don't want your throw-it bearing spinning all the time. But it don't. That's what the inch of free play is for, to keep pressure off the throw-it bearing and off the clutch fingers. And you know the clutch is fully depressed when it's got an inch of free play in the top. My button's in the oil pan. I ain't put that back on yet. It fell down in the oil pan when I was doing stuff. But the starter sounds great. Starter sounds great. Got everything back together. We got it rained out. We're gonna do some cultivating and some healing. Let me get off here. Well, what I ended up doing, I ended up taking 2 starters and make one. I took this one. I was working, and the contact in here is done wore down to where this won't touch it no more. So this is original. What is this? This is a AC Delco Remy. Anyway, long story short, I switched the Bendix gears out of them. I think if I rebuild this one, put new brushes, new button on it. I don't know if the piece that's inside under this button sticking about the starter is replaceable or not. I don't know, but that's the problem with it. I might can solder it back up and build it back up with solder. But anyway, took 2 and made 1. Because the Bendix was tore all the pieces. I'm gonna put the fertilizer drive back on here, get my hopper back on here. And we're gonna put this up, I think this is pretty much everything on this. Starter's working. Spin it over with the motor off. Sounds great. Starter sounds great. Anyway, an idea here. This is finished, back together, ready to ride again. We'll get some more videos out soon, healing and cultivating. We've been in a standstill till we got this piece of equipment back, got this back running. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is how you do a clutch, flywheel ring, throw it bearing, and pallet bearing all into one.